All right, so we're out here today trying to find information about what people think about job loss due to automation. So, what do you think about AI and that whole subject in general?
Well, right now, I wouldn't say that machines have actually taken jobs from people, but with the way technology and science is going now, I would say in the nearest future, it seems like that is something that's a possibility that's most likely to happen. Because uh, I don't know, do you know any kind of machines you think is taking jobs from people?
Yeah, so the first thing that comes to mind is self-checkout at grocery stores. Um, at self-checkout, you can have one person
Hmm.
who's watching six, lanes
Yes.
basically. Um, that's one example, and a more extreme example of that is Amazon's staffless warehouse.
Yes.
Have you heard of that before?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
So there's no one inside at all, no staff members except for cleaning. They don't interact with the customers. When you walk in, there's facial recognition that knows
Yes.
your face, and it connects that to your bank account,
Yes.
and you can grab whatever you want and just walk out of the store. So
Yes.
um, retail jobs make up a large percent of the overall workforce in the
Yeah.
United States. So that's one way they would be lost. Another way is self-driving cars. And
Yes,
yeah,
Tesla, for example.
very good. Tesla
There
is
we
exactly
go.
what
Tesla.
I was
Yeah, I
going to
was gonna mention that Tesla.
say. Yeah, they. Did you want to say something about that?
Yeah. Basically, I wouldn't say it's like a really safe part of science, because there are like good part of science and there's the bad side of science. For the Tesla, for example, things could maybe go wrong, something like that, and the car could maybe just drive to maybe a wrong location.
You're right.
And there are also airplanes. Have you heard about that? Um, they're still kind of testing it out, but there are airplanes that they've kind of like tested by flying by itself. So if that's mostly something that might happen in the future. So basically, if airplanes are flying, it's flying itself, and cars are driving itself, and basically buses and other type of automated vehicles will probably start doing that. So basically, we're gonna lose drivers, and we're gonna lose pilots. We're gonna lose other bunch of stuff like that. So if you ask me if I agree with the machines and the AI taking over jobs, no, I don't. I disagree.
Interesting. Well, my question is more about to what extent will there be the job loss due to automation? Meaning, like, there are about 4 million jobs that
Yes.
are for like taxi driving
Mhm.
that can be taken over by self-driving
Yes.
cars. That's only, I think that's less than 1% of the 1% of the United States workforce as a whole.
Mhm.
So maybe like next year we might have 1% of job loss due to automation.
Yes,
but
definitely.
maybe in a couple of years it'll be 5 or 10 or more.
Yes.
And my question for you is, how far do you think we can get? What number do you think we would hit for job loss due to automation? Let's say by the year 2045 or 2050. Do you think it would be 50% of jobs are all lost, 90%, something else?
Well, like I said, with the way science and technology is going now, there's a 100% possibility that
100%.
yes, that
Interesting.
by 2045 or maybe 2050, I would say 45%.
45% of
Yes,
jobs.
of jobs will probably be ruled over by machines and ALs, basically. Because you see the driving and everything, people are sort of kind of trusting Tesla already. So if Tesla moves on to not just making cars like vehicles, they might want to make buses. They might want to make different type of vehicles that is just not stuff like that. So yeah, like you said, that could lose jobs, like driving jobs, and yeah, like 45%.
So I,
That's
I
what I
can
would say.
I can see that. I also agree with you. I am more. I think that most of the jobs will be replaced by 2045. The question, really, the real reason I'm out here is trying to figure out the answer to this next question, which is, what do we do about that? Specifically with money. If you are a truck driver for 30 years and you lose your job, yeah, there are other new jobs being created, but you're not going to start learning programming if
Yes.
you were just driving a truck
Yes.
for 30 years.
Mhm.
So, what do we do about all those people that lose their jobs? How can we help them out financially? What do you think is the best choice?
Well, I wouldn't say that's something that I would be able to answer. That's kind of like something the government should figure out. by themselves, because if they have a plan of using machines instead of humans, then they should probably have like a plan for humans that loses their job to their machines. But I would say if it goes too far, maybe in years, if it goes too far, there'll probably be like a time where people protest and, you know, get mad that these machines are taking our jobs and everything, and, you know, they need like jobs and stuff like that. So yeah, that.
Are you familiar with Labor Day? Labor Day?
Labor Day?
Yeah.
Not really.
Oh, well, there's a day in September called Labor Day, and it's not very well known as to where it comes from, but it actually comes from exactly what you were saying. In the 1920s, there was a lot of job loss due to automation with making clothes, because before people were, you know, doing it more by hand, and then they finally started having machines in the 1920s and 30s, and these machines were taking away all these jobs from these people. What the employees did in response was they caused riots. They came in, took baseball bats and axes and broke the machines, set things on fire, and people actually died as a result of these extreme riots. And we commemorate that with Memorial Day in September every year. And my thinking is that that's already happened, right?
Yes, it did.
If past is prologue, we can look into the future as not only having the textile workers have their jobs lost, but you know, like taxi drivers, doctors, even the computer scientists aren't safe. So, while I agree with you that it should be something the government solves. This should be an issue that they take responsibility for. The people that are really deciding that there will be job loss are like the companies, right? If you're Target and you have you want to decrease expenses, so you have self-checkout, then you don't have to have employees anymore. So, you know, when a technology exists and they can buy it, they're gonna like try to use it as soon as possible. So that is just going to happen so fast that the government might not have time to really even adjust and prepare. Do you see?
Yeah, but then there are also times where I think most companies can do without humans, because there are times that these machines might malfunction and they would need like a person to help with that. But let's be honest though, I mean, machines are way faster than humans are. They work real fast, they do everything like in much faster pace and everything, but that wouldn't mean that we would rely on the machines. Like, I wouldn't say, science, no matter what, like, something would always go wrong. Like, there's no machine you making. I mean, there's Teslas that has crashed due to like the driving malfunction, like it was driving itself and then it malfunctioned. And airplanes has autopilots, basically. So what if companies like manufacturers say, okay, an airplane has autopilot. What if we made something that would just make it go by itself on its own? I don't think people would want to do that. I wouldn't do it.
Why?
Like, I wouldn't trust my life with a machine.
Yeah?
Like, if I'm getting in an airplane and I hear that there's no pilot in this airplane, no, that's it. But at the same time, there's probably going to be like a pilot in there, because they know that anything could go wrong, and it has to be someone to be able to take over when that happens, right? So, you were saying?
I was going to say, the example I like to give is cars and calculators. When you have a car isn't close to the speed of a human. It isn't the same speed of a human, or even a little bit faster. It's superhuman.
Yes.
When you have a calculator, it isn't right most of the time. It's perfect.
Yes.
And I think you can say the same with artificial intelligence. It's when you have a machine that is going to be able to think, it's not going to be able to think like us. It'll be extreme.
Yeah, a lot more smarter and everything.
And so because of that, like, it would, in the same way that if you work a job as an accountant, you have to use a calculator.
Yes.
They don't let you do it by pencil.
Yes.
Right? They don't trust you anymore.
Yes.
They trust the machine more.
They trust the machine.
So I think you can see the similar thing happening with artificial intelligence.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what you said is actually true, but still though, majority of people in the world still wouldn't like trust people to, like the money part you were talking about. That's money,
Hmm.
but would people trust their lives on these machines?
Hmm.
Like, would they say that? Oh,
Well,
what you were saying? Go ahead. No, no, no,
well, how many people look at the road? No one is riding a horse,
at all.
right?
Yeah.
When they first made the cars, they would say, "I don't know what this is. There's gasoline. It's going to explode. I'm going to burn to death. What if I crash? I'm going really fast. What if the brakes don't work?" We fixed all of that. It just took time.
But then, okay, yeah, okay, you got me in that part. You did get me. But people learn, right? People learn to rely on stuff. And like take airplane for example, right? We travel some people every day, they travel without knowing that something could go wrong. Like you're entering this plane, you're basically putting your life at risk because you know that something could go wrong. An engine could pop out, it could crash or anything, but somehow you still happen to get in there and get in the skies and stuff like that, right? So sometimes what I would say is most times people don't have a choice but to rely on most of these machines. But then some other times it's just right to just like do things the human way and just leave the machine aside, right? Because I mean the airplane, you don't have a choice. If you want to go somewhere, you have to. If you're somewhere and you know that the cars can't go, you have to take an airplane, right? So yeah, it's things like that. It's things like that.
Okay.
Sometimes people don't have a choice, and most times they have a choice.
Okay.
So, yes.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
Well, the future is bright.
The future is bright.
Yeah,
I love it.
In terms of machines and ALs and everything.
AI.
Yeah. I'm I'm a machine type of guy. I like machines. I like seeing. I have friends that invent stuff and everything, and I like seeing how it works and everything. At first, I'm like, nah, I don't really. I'm not sure. But then when I see it work for a while, then I'm like, okay, maybe we should actually try it out and stuff like that. Yeah. So, yeah, the future is bright in terms of science and technology. It's bright, but then probably going to be dangerous too. But we never know. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
No
Have a
problem.
great evening.
You too.
Take it easy. Okay. Wrap it up.
Hey, thanks, man.
You're welcome.